Coincidentally, these are known surnames of today's flood control saga. Candaba Mayor Rene Maglanque, ang
Welcome to
patriarch
Bantay Bayan.
ng
Stay
Maglanques
aware,
of Global
stay informed.
Concrete Builders, contractor ng multi-billion peso worth of flood control projects. DPWH Undersecretary Roberto Bernardo na kamakailan lamang ay nag-early retirement matapos masangkot sa maanomalyang flood control. At siyempre pa, dating DPWH Secretary Manuel Bonoan. Maglanque, Bernardo, Bonoan, MBB, Mr. President. Kayo na po ang mag-connect ng dots. By the way, sina Macy Maglanque, Sansen Bernardo, at pati Magay Bonoan de la Cruz ay mga anak na mga nabanggit na opisyal ng gobyerno. Kaya naman pala ang palaging depensa ni dating DPWH Secretary Bonoan, isolated case lang daw ang nakita ni Pangulong Bongbong Marcos sa Ghost Project sa Bulacan. Ayaw na siguro ni Bonoan na maungkat pa sa investigasyon ang Global CREET. Saan ba hantong lahat na ito, Mr. President? Our people are growing impatient and angry, but we are not in the business of quick fixes and band-aid solutions. The newly installed Secretary of Public Works and Highways, Vince Dizon, has hit the ground running to weed out the corruption in the agency. Investigators are running their course in both chambers of Congress. The President shows no sign of wavering in this fight. We are on the right trajectory in getting to the bottom of this systemic rot and punishing to the fullest extent of the law those who have corrupted us. Sa dahilang ang prosecution ay mandato ng ehekutibo, titiyakin nating may ambag ang oversight functions ng Senado sa pagpapanagot ng mga sangkot. Lahat ng may kinalaman sa pagnanakaw, mapakontraktor o empleyado ng DPWH o mambabatas man, ay dapat isama sa kasong kriminal na isasampa. We respectfully urge the DPWH to refer this matter for the filing of criminal cases, including multiple violations of Article 217 in relation to Articles 48 and 171, Paragraph 4 of the Revised Penal Code, or malversation through falsification of public documents. For one, the falsification of documentation, particularly the use of manipulated photos in contractors' progress billing reports, later certified by DPWH officials, is a blatant violation of this provision. Mr. President, even if we do away with said complex crime and file cases for malversation alone, kung ang tampok na halaga ay higit 8.8 million pesos, reclusion perpetua o pagkakakulong ng 20 years and 1 day to 40 years ang parusa. Next is the prosecution for violation of the Anti-Graft and Corrupt Practices Act, Republic Act 3019, Section 3E, causing undue injury to the government or giving a private party unwarranted benefits, advantage, or preference through manifest partiality, evident bad faith, or gross inexcusable negligence. And Section 3G, entering on behalf of the government into contracts manifestly and grossly disadvantageous to it. And Section 8, in relation to Republic Act 1379, unexplained wealth. We also strongly endorse the filing of charges for violation of Republic Act 7080 or the Anti-Plunder Law, Mr. President. Sapat naman pong basihan ang nakakapangilabot na laki ng halaga ng mga anomalya sa flood control. Bilyones po ang pinag-uusapan nating nauwi sa ghost projects. Ang marangyang pamumuhay ng mga sangkot na opisyal ng DPWH at ang daang milyong kaya nilang ipatalo sa mga kasino ay kabilang sa magpapatunay sa paglabag sa batas na ito. These facts show that the accumulated ill-gotten wealth has undeniably breached the minimum threshold for plunder, which is 50 million pesos. Dahil ang bawat isang maanumalyang kontrata ay isang hayagang paglabag sa batas, malinaw po na natutugunan nito ang requirement ng anti-plunder law na nagsasaad na ang ill-gotten wealth ay dapat nagmula sa paulit-ulit o serye na mga gawain upang makaipon ng yaman sa pamamagitan ng pandaraya. Mr. President, we likewise detail the infractions of the BGC boys in connection with their gambling spree. Sa paggamit ng fictitious names o aliases upang itago ang kanilang identity sa mga casinos, easily, Mr. President, this is a clear violation of Article 178 of the Revised Penal Code, or the use of fictitious name and concealing true name. To further sustain the use of their pseudo identities, the BGC boys used fake driver's licenses to gain entry into casinos, thereby violating Section 31, Article 2 of Republic Act 4136, which expressly outlaws the making, use, or possession of licenses in imitation or similitude of those legally issued by the LTO. Sa actual na garapalang paglalaro sa kasino, ito po ay violation ng Presidential Decree number 1869, Republic Act 6713, and various memorandum circulars prohibiting and penalizing government officials for entering and much more for playing in casinos. Mr. President, the Anti-Money Laundering Act as amended is likewise violated as the proceeds of graft and plunder are transacted and converted by purchasing casino chips and subsequently cashing them out after minimal gaming, thereby disguising the true source of the funds. Considering the glaring violation of the Anti-Money Laundering Act by these big-time gamblers, we urge the Anti-Money Laundering Council to immediately initiate an action for the freezing of the bank accounts of these individuals and the subsequent prosecution for violating the law itself. Finally, Mr. President, umaapaw din ang kinaharap na kasong administratibo ng mga DPWH officials na ito. Among these are grave misconduct, serious dishonesty, gross neglect of duty, and or conduct prejudicial to the best interest of the service. Violations of the Code of Conduct and Ethical Standards for public officials and employees, and the Code of Conduct pertaining to the practice of their profession as regulated by the Professional Regulation Commission. Our goal is not only punitive but also preventive. So we do it through reforms in our legislation, Mr. President. Amendment of Republic Act 4566 as amended by PD number 1746 or the Contractors License Law to institutionalize the perpetual absolute ban of blacklisted contractors found to have ghost and substandard projects and higher penalties for conflicts of interest brought by interlocking positions in related industries or entities. Amendment to increase penalties for conflicts of interest, especially those public officials and employees who may also act as contractors under Republic Act 6713 or Code of Conduct and Ethical Standards for Public Officials and Employees. Transparency initiatives in the budget process and accountability measures in the planning and budgeting of infrastructure projects. Kung walang detailed architectural and engineering design or DAED, wala dapat pondo. DPWH should also publish DAED, Program of Works and Detailed Unit Price Analysis or DUPA. Mr. President, more than ever, we need people speaking up, not talking down on the efforts we have built. Words such as, wala ring mangyayari dyan, wala namang makukulong, at umpisa lang yan, malilimot din yan, do not help our cause, Mr. President, but only embolden those who have robbed us of our hard-earned taxpayers' money. In my first privileged speech, I spoke about the flooded gates of corruption. Today, we turned our sight into a darker place, the flooded gates of hell. There, we can find those who rob the Filipino people, drowning not in floodwaters but in sins and moral decay of the corrupt and greedy officials and contractors. Sana, sa madaling panahon, malunod ang may mga kasalanan sa dami ng kasong kanilang haharapin. Mr. President, these people have reduced the lives of our flood-stricken countrymen into living hell. It is time to give them what they rightly deserve. Thank you, Mr. President.
I see that the Senator Rodante Marcoleta is seeking the floor. What is the pleasure of Senator Marcoleta?
I'd like to know, Mr. President, if our good Senate President pro tempore would yield to a few questions.
Willingly to the still the chairman of the Committee on Public Accountability, the good senator from Tarlac and the Republic of the Philippines.
You may proceed then.
Maraming
Senator
salamat
Marcoleta.
po, Mr. President. Mr. President, kanina pong mag-umpisang mag-present ang ating Senate President pro tempore, ay laking pasalamat ko sapagkat nakita ko yung resulta ng kanyang personal na pag-iimbestiga. Doon po sa kauna-unahang slide, Mr. President, nakita ko po yung isang text message na galing po yata kay Yusek Catalina Cabral. Hindi ko po masyadong maintindihan. Pwede po bang pakikwento po ninyo, Mr. President, ano po ba yung pinanggalingan noon?
Ang pinanggalingan po, nag-congratulate siya sa ating nakaupong Senate President. But this message was sent through the staff of our Senate President, Mr. President. Ang sinasabi daw, congratulations po, no?
That was after July 1.
After
July 1st.
proclamation or after oath-taking, Mr. President.
After the oath-taking, if I distinctly remember.
So dahil siguradong panalo na po tayo, kayo rin po, dahil nag-oath-taking na tayo, nag-message si kagad yung Undersecretary Cabral sa kanyang staff at sinasabi, congratulations, baka mo merong ako may... Andyan po sa text message, sa Viber message, na sinasabi para ma-align do sa mga priorities at para maiwasan yung redundancy, siya nang gagawa ng paraan. Ang sabay ang sinabi na para maihabol o maisama na sa NEP. So nag-iimbita siya na magsumite kayo, parang sinasabi 500 million pesos yata, ibig sabihin ng 500 yan eh. Kasi hindi naman malinaw, pero ang sinabi, po kayo 500 for now. For now. Ibig sabihin, for now, sige, magpasok kayo mga 500 million pesos worth of projects na sa inyo manggagaling. So ito po yung sinasabi natin na isang kamalian ng budgeting or budget process. Dahil ang trabaho, mandato ng Kongreso, both houses, legislation. Yung pong NEP, nasa budget preparation phase na kung saan exclusive domain ng executive branch. Pero bakit po, dahil ganyan ang nangyayari, mismo sa DPWs na nanggagaling na magpasok na kayo rito. Hindi ho ba pakikialam yun sa mandate o sa exclusive authority ng executive branch?
Salamat po sa sagot na yon, Mr. President.